This review is late, mostly because it seems I miscalculated the days this episode is gonna air. But High School DXD Hero, aka High School DXD Season 4, Episode 3 review here from the Angry Anime Fan, the Despair Reviewer. Well, what can we say? News Network was not so very impressed by this episode. What are my thoughts about it? Well, at least the story is moving a little bit more forward. But there are some pretty nice ecchi moments here, even if they are a little bit censored here. Because after all, one of the things that makes High School DxD one of the greater fan service like shows is that it can sometimes combine etchiness and even then sometimes have some heartwarming and action moments. Having said that, some action moments here were pretty fast. Either way, the episode starts with Issei having talked with Azazel Sensei, aka Azazel, the leader of the fallen angels, to about the consciousness inside Draig. Turns out these are what Issei will call his senpais, as they are the most talent. They were previous hosts of the Securite that Draig, the red boosted gear. Either way, but they are not talking to Issei. They seem unresponsive, mostly because, well, it's not exactly known how to, but many of them surrender themselves to anger and hatred when they do, and then their consciousness just keep on existing inside of the sacred gear. However, one woman, a very beautiful woman at that time, one of the strongest women that once wielded the boosted gear, shows Issei a box and says that they all love the Oppai Dragon song. Poor Drag. That the fact that many previous hosts of him like that corny song. But hey, that's what makes it all thinking worth it in a while. So Issei wonders more as they arrive in Kyoto and have some pretty nice time. Then this episode slows down a little bit with mostly with the perverted trio's etchiness and their annoyance, as well as they take many adorable photos. Then things take a turn in the more suspenseful way as Issei prays alone in a Kyoto temple. He suddenly is attacked by a kitsune that's in the shape of a young girl, probably in middle school age. She has a lot of tails and yellow hair and yellow eyes. And for those that watched the Japanese dub of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, or what it was called in Japan, Tomodachi no Maho, will recognize that voice as the Japanese voice of Applejack. Uh, actually know that. I'm actually glad she got a role other than that one, because I know for a fact Japan will never ever dub the Friendship is Magic again. It doesn't help that the group that voiced the ponies in the Japanese one broke up, so I mean they will probably not do it anyway again, even if they would. But I got off topic. Either way, this kitsune, I don't think her name is mentioned here, but I think her name was in the credits. It's Kunue. She is attacking Issei because apparently she believes that Issei kidnapped her mother, which we know, of course, Issei did not. As his allies comes to Issei's side, they of course don't fight violently back because, well, these are kitsunes and the yokai of Kyoto. We see both Tengu and Karasus. Later on, the episode takes on a more fan service side as Issei tries to spy on Bath but gets stopped by Rosu Vaisu. Then they have some very melodramatic moments like, I need to see this even if I die. But hey, that is what High School DxD is about. They suddenly take, Issei takes his etchiness very seriously. Sometimes it works, sometimes it does not. It all depends on what people think. Either way, in that moment he has a brief struggle with Roseweiss and actually managed to strip her with his dress break. But she is more upset at the fact that he destroyed her pretty cheap jersey. But I have to say, Roseweiss has a very beautiful body, but she's very sensitive about not having a boyfriend. Then her serious, deep voice becomes very high pitched when she talks about that. Also, there's a fan service scene where Akino and Rias are arguing about boobs and even have a boob to boob like moment there. I don't know if that was in the light novel. Maybe a little bit too much in itchiness, but hey, I like that scene. We need some more of those moments more. Because again, High School DXD, when they get to their itchiness, they can really get to their itchiness. But the episode takes a more turn as the gathering of the devils of the school gather up together with Azazel Sensei, as well as Lady Serafal Leviathan, which is, Kaicho, the Sona, the president of another place in the school, older sister, as well as one of the four Satans. Although this time she's hardly recognizable, as her hair is noticeably shorter, or maybe she just has one single ponytail and she's wielding a kimono. Normally she's always wearing a magical girl skirt and being, all boopy and boopy, stuff like that. Either way, she is in this region to talk to the Jokai. However, then she informs them that the leader of the Jokai, the one that keeps them together, Akubi, has been kidnapped, very likely by the terrorist group that the group have faced off in the last two seasons, Chaos Brigade. Why they kidnapped the QB, no one knows really for sure, but it turns out that they attack that the little middle schooler Kuno did may very well have been that misunderstanding. A devil or someone else kidnapped the leader of the yokai. I hope they can solve this problem pretty quickly. But the question is more if they can. As the occult club of Kyoto walks away later after dinner, they all agree that they need to do something about this and save the leader of the yokai. All in all, that's episode. This arc is finally beginning to kick off, especially with the introduction of Kuno, the cute little middle schooler. However, I can agree. Somewhat the etchiness in this one was pretty big. Maybe a little bit more over the top than usual, but hey, it is what it is. This is High School DxD. You just have to do it. Then again, the action scenes didn't really feel that smooth this time, but that maybe because we have yet to get into it very well. I think I will enjoy this episode a lot more when more episodes air. But that's basically this episode. You give me your thoughts if you have any.